My brothers and sisters, look across our continent, look at the vast wealth beneath our feet, the gold, the diamonds, the lithium, the cotton, and the fertile soil that could feed the entire world, and then look at our people. Look at our youth, educated, energetic, brimming with potential, yet forced to risk their lives crossing desert sands and perilous seas just to seek a dignity that should have been their birthright at home. Why? Because for decades a tired old guard has traded our sovereignty for foreign approval. They sat in air-conditioned palaces, signing away our mineral rights for peanuts, nodding obsequiously to foreign masters, while our armies fought with broken weapons, and our children went without books. They told us that progress takes time. They told us to be patient. But patience in the face of ongoing exploitation is not a virtue, it is complicity. When we took the stand in Ouagadougou, it was not out of a desire for power, it was an act of absolute necessity. We saw a nation on the brink of collapse, torn apart by violence, while those in power played political games and waited for orders from Paris, London, or Washington. We said no more. The destiny of Africa cannot be decided in foreign capitals. It cannot be dictated by institutions that view us merely as a site of extraction and a market for finished goods. The old leadership thought that loyalty to foreign patrons would guarantee their survival. They forgot the fundamental truth of governance. A leader's only true mandate comes from the people he serves. To the youth of Burkina Faso, to the youth of West Africa, and to the youth across this entire continent, this movement is yours. You are not the future of Africa, you are its present. The old political structures were built to keep you passive, to make you believe that you were incapable of managing your own affairs. They wanted you to believe that without foreign intervention, without foreign aid, without foreign troops, we would fall apart. I tell you today that this is a lie. It is a psychological chain designed to keep us dependent. Look at our history. Before the colonizers drew arbitrary lines across our maps, our ancestors built empires, established trade networks, and developed systems of governance that respected the community. We do not need permission to be sovereign. We do not need validation from those who enrich themselves at our expense. We are taking control of our security, our resources, and our destiny. When we ask our young people to stand up, to volunteer, to defend their villages, we are not just asking them to fight an enemy in the field, we are asking them to rebuild the national spirit. Every young man and woman who steps forward to serve is declaring that Africa is ready to defend itself. The fall of the old guard is not just a change of government in one nation, it is the beginning of a systemic shift across the Sahel and beyond. The rhetoric of international cooperation must be replaced by the reality of true independence. If you come to us as an equal, as a partner who respects our sovereignty, our doors are open. But if you come to us as a master, know that those days are permanently behind us. We do not stand in a vacuum. The struggle we carry out today is the continuation of a long historic battle that was started by our fathers and grandfathers. When we speak of sovereignty, self-reliance and dignity, we are speaking the language of Thomas Sankara, of Patrice Lumumba, of Kwame Nkrumah, and of Modibo Keïta. These were not just leaders. They were visionaries who saw clearly what Africa could become if it broke free from the psychological and economic shackles of its oppressors. Look at Thomas Sankara, our own brother, who walked these very streets of Ouagadougou. He understood before many others that true freedom cannot be given, it must be seized. He taught us that a nation that cannot feed itself, clothe itself, and defend itself is not truly free. Sankara asked us a simple question: where is imperialism? And he answered it himself. Look at your plates when you eat. The imported rice, the imported wheat, that is imperialism. He urged us to consume what we produce and produce what we consume. He tried to wake the continent up to the dangers of foreign debt, calling it a cleverly managed reconquest of Africa. And what happened to him? What happened to Lumumba in the Congo? What happened to Amilcar Cabral in Guinea-Bissau? They were eliminated. They were betrayed, often by internal collaborators, working hand in hand with foreign intelligence agencies and colonial powers who could not tolerate an African leader who refused to bow. Their deaths were meant to send a message to all of us: do not dare to stand tall. Stay in your place. Remain suppliers of raw materials and beggars of foreign aid. For decades, that message kept our leaders afraid. They saw the graves of our martyrs and decided that personal survival was better than national dignity. They chose quiet submission over revolutionary courage, but they forgot one crucial thing. You can kill a man, but you cannot kill an idea. You can execute a revolutionary, but you cannot stop the seeds he planted from growing in the minds of the next generation. The revolution of the 20th century was left unfinished. Our predecessors succeeded in pulling down foreign flags and adopting national anthems, but the economic and structural machinery of colonialism was left entirely intact. They gave us the illusion of independence while retaining control over our currencies, our central banks, our mines, and our security apparatus. We are here to finish that uncompleted work. We have studied the mistakes and the triumphs of those who came before us. We know that foreign powers will try to isolate us, sanction us, and demonize us in their media networks. They will call us destabilizers, dictators, and rebels. But we wear their condemnation as a badge of honor, because we know that no oppressor ever praised a slave who broke his chains. Our allegiance is not to international diplomatic etiquette that perpetuates our poverty. Our allegiance is to the memory of Lumumba, whose body was dissolved in acid, but whose spirit lives in every African youth demanding justice. Our allegiance is to Sankara, whose blood soaked our soil and fertilized our resolve. We are their voice today, and we will not be silenced. Political independence without economic sovereignty is nothing more than an elaborate illusion. For decades, our continent has operated under a system designed to keep us at the bottom of the global value chain. We extract raw materials from our soil using our own sweat and blood, export them for pennies to foreign nations, and then buy back the finished products at 10 times the price. This is not trade, it is legalized plunder, and it ends now. Look at our agricultural sectors. Africa possesses vast tracts of arable land, yet we import billions of dollars worth of basic foodstuffs every single year. We produce cocoa, cotton, and cashew nuts, yet our local industries process only a tiny fraction of what we grow. When we rely on foreign financial institutions to fund our budgets and foreign central banks to manage our monetary policy, we hand over the keys to our national destiny. We must build our own industries, refine our own minerals, and manufacture our own goods right here on African soil. We are telling all foreign corporations and foreign governments, the era of cheap extraction is over. If you want our resources, you will build factories here, you will employ our young people, transfer technology, and pay fair taxes that stay in our national treasury. We will no longer tolerate unequal contracts signed behind closed doors by corrupt officials. Every resource deal must serve the national interest first, or it will not exist at all. A nation that cannot protect its own citizens is not a sovereign state. For years, foreign military bases were pitched to us as the ultimate solution to our security crises. We were told that without foreign troops, foreign intelligence, and foreign advisors, our nations would be overrun by extremist forces. Yet, despite years of foreign military presence across the region, violence expanded. Our territorial integrity was eroded, and our armies were kept dependent and ill-equipped. We realized a fundamental truth: no foreign army will ever shed blood for the defense of our homeland with the same passion, commitment, and sacrifice as our own people. True security cannot be outsourced. That is why we chose to take full responsibility for our defense. We mobilized our citizens, equipped our patriotic armed forces, and formed popular volunteer brigades to defend their own communities, town by town, village by village. When a farmer picks up a weapon to protect his land, when a young graduate joins the armed forces to defend her nation, security ceases to be a foreign aid project and becomes a national duty. We are proving to the world that when an African nation trusts its own people and relies on its own resolve, it can stand up against any threat. Foreign interference under the guise of security assistance is over. Our defense belongs solely to us. The artificial borders drawn in 1884 were created to divide us, weaken us, and make us easier to control. The imperialist understood that a fragmented Africa would always remain vulnerable, while a united Africa would be an unstoppable global power. For too long, we allowed those borders to dictate our relationships, treating neighboring brother nations as rivals rather than partners in a shared destiny. The creation of new regional alliances in the Sahel represents a decisive break from this colonial legacy. We are aligning our defense, our economies, and our diplomacy with nations that share our commitment to true sovereignty. When one of us is attacked, all of us are attacked. When one of us succeeds, the entire region moves forward. This is not just a tactical partnership, it is the concrete realization of the Pan-African dream. To the youth listening across the continent, from east to west, from north to south, know that this struggle belongs to all of us. The old order is crumbling because it was built on injustice, but the new order will not build itself. It requires your intelligence, your courage, your work ethic, and your unwavering belief in African self-reliance. Stand firm, reject defeatism, and let us build an Africa that is proud, independent, and truly free.